Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie, and it looks like we've got more returning Iron Man characters coming to the Armor Wars movie, paying off some long-running Easter eggs and references in the previous Iron Man movies and some of the series, including some as recent as What If Season 2 episodes, and we learned some more of what the actual plot is and why they turned it into a movie and delayed it for a couple years when it was originally supposed to be a TV series and released this year, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up this week because it's the Super Bowl. It's going to be a big trailer fest. We're supposed to get that first Deadpool 3 trailer. Of course, I will do videos for whatever they wind up releasing, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that stuff. But probably the biggest news this week is Sam Rockwell talking about coming back in the live-action Marvel movies as his version of Justin Hammer during the Iron Man Armor Wars movie. Here's the clip of him talking about it.
I heard that there's a rumor that your character might come back in the
Really?
new Armor Wars.
Yeah, it's a lot of spoiler alerts.
How many years?
I'll take it, man.
How many years?
It's been a while. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
People want Justin Hammer. They want him back.
Listen, I'm in, dude.
You are? It's
Yeah, let's go.
2024. We want more
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell. That's what I'm talking about.
He's been talking about coming back for years now, so it sounds like he's been campaigning behind the scenes to make that happen in the live-action films. He's also friends in real life with a bunch of the other Marvel actors, including Clark Gregg, Coulson, of all people. He mentioned trying to get both of them to return in Marvel and new projects a couple of years ago. For everybody hoping to see Marvel officially recognize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as canon, now that they just confirmed all the Marvel Netflix shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Punisher are now canon to the MCU, even though most fans believe they were always canon this whole time. It's kind of the same situation with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like it's in a bit of a limbo state where technically it's canon, but there were some aspects that took it off of canon into other universes during the run of the series. But it is funny seeing that other actors inside Marvel are campaigning for each other just inside the belly of the beast. Like imagine Sam Rockwell inside Kevin Feige's office grilling him on why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't officially recognized as canon yet. Just recently, because I was busy doing episode videos for it every single week, Sam Rockwell just came back to Marvel as his Justin Hammer during What If Season 2 in their What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas episode.
I'm Santa Claus, baby!
He was great in that episode. I did a much longer full breakdown with all the Easter eggs and references, so I'll add a link for that down in the description. But essentially, it's Sam Rockwell coming back with all the other Avengers actors to do a version of Die Hard in the MCU. Justin Hammer basically being the Hans Gruber of that equation, trying to infiltrate the Avengers Tower because the episode takes place earlier in the timeline when they were all still living at the Avengers Tower. So technically Marvel already had him under contract again, but it was a separate one-off thing, like he was only in that one episode. Now just imagine them doing that in live action.
Hogan, I got your girl Friday, but all I want for Christmas is you.
Oh, gotta admit, that's some solid holiday wordplay.
Hey, thanks.
The important reason for getting him back for the Iron Man Armor Wars movie, though, is that he's a core part of the Armor Wars storyline in the comics that they're adapting for the movie. Originally in the comics, Justin Hammer pays the Spy Master character to steal Iron Man's armor designs and technology. The Spy Master character was just featured during a deleted scene in Black Panther Wakanda Forever a little while ago. I put the full version of that deleted scene on my channel last year, so I'll add a link down in the description below for that too. But the Armor Wars story features basically every armor-wearing villain you've ever seen in Marvel Comics. It even features Stiltman, who also fights Iron Man. He's the Melvin Potter character that was featured during Daredevil Netflix series, which is now canon to the MCU. Justin Hammer then begins producing weapons, armor designs based on Iron Man's tech, selling them to the highest bidder. So Iron Man's armor is essentially given to a bunch of villain groups across the world, and he spends a solid amount of time getting rid of all of them. Then he learns Justin Hammer and his other rivals built special giant armor suits for the US government called Firepower, which as you'd expect goes off the rails and Iron Man has to destroy it. So the US government also becomes a big villain during the series. You can kind of see the direction they're taking this inside the MCU. Marvel Phase 5 movies are kind of like the Dark Reign era of the MCU. So the way they're adapting the Armor Wars story for the MCU is making it more about Rhodey having recently returned to the world after being held captive by the Skrulls since the events of Captain America Civil War when he had his accident. That was when the Skrulls switched places with him. So for Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, that was Skrull Rhodey the whole time. The real Rhodey, post-Secret Invasion, learns that Justin Hammer has been working with Val, Thunderbolt Ross, and Sharon Carter Power Broker to make armor for damage control. They've already been controlling Iron Man's Edith drones. We saw them using them during Ms. Marvel and during Spider-Man No Way Home. If it wasn't clear, Val controls damage control. She's after Iron Man's tech. And through Sharon Carter Power Broker, Justin Hammer's been selling Stark Tech ripoffs to villain groups all over the MCU. That's part of the way they're paying off that Sharon Carter post-credit scene from Falcon and Winter Soldier. When she was talking on the phone to that mystery person about treating the US military like it was their piggy bank, rating it for everything it was worth, part of that they'll pay off with Armor Wars. Some of that will spill into other series and movies. Basically, it's one of those situations during the dark reign of Marvel where Val Thunderbolt Ross becomes president, and as a result, things get completely chaotic, like a bunch of really, really dangerous stuff gets into the hands of really dangerous people all over the world. This is where we get to the other big subplot in the Armor Wars movie. They're essentially supposed to have some kind of crossover between Justin Hammer, Val, and Ultron. Because Justin Hammer's whole thing is falling because of his hubris, he and Val are supposedly unwittingly resurrecting Ultron's dormant code when they start ripping off Iron Man armor and weapon designs. They accidentally reactivate the Ultron Protocol, and he's supposed to serve as one of the villains of the series, but the real main villain is Damage Control and Val, who are behind everything, including giving Justin Hammer a presidential pardon fresh from President Thunderbolt Ross that we're going to see in Captain America 4 in exchange for helping them rip off Iron Man tech because he's been sitting in Seagate prison this whole time since the events of Iron Man 2. Helping them pay off the Iron Man 3 one-shot, which was the last time we actually saw the character in live action in the MCU. A lot of people at the time wondered how he was going to get out of prison. Turns out it's a presidential pardon in exchange for helping the US government, Val, Thunderbolt Ross, do all kinds of shady stuff. That feels exactly like something that Val would do. In fact, Justin Hammer was kind of doing a version of that during Iron Man 2, building armor designs for the US military. Now, part of the reason why they changed Armor Wars from a TV series to a movie and delayed it was because there was no way they were going to be able to justify the budget needed to do all those Iron Man armors, Ultron, and make it as big and epic as it needed to be. For example, the She-Hulk series, which just got canceled effectively, like there's not going to be a She-Hulk season 2, had super questionable CG. It cost Marvel over $225 million to make with all that shoddy CG. That's more than most of their big movies. The Echo series, which also just aired in comparison, only cost them $40 million to make, a small fraction of that. If they did Armor Wars as like a 6-episode TV series with a full budget exactly the way it was supposed to be done, it would cost them over $300 million. They would wind up losing so much money on that. Without getting too into the weeds on how people in Hollywood make money, because some of it is really shady ways, it's way easier for Disney, Marvel for example, to make money back on theatrical films because they get to double dip on you so many times. They get the ticket sales when it's released in theaters, then they get the home video sales when you buy it on Blu-ray or you rent it online, then they get your subscription money for Disney+. And when they only release stuff on Disney+, they skip out on hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars in revenue. That's why last year they started selling DVDs and Blu-rays of all the Disney Plus series so they could start earning some of the money back. One of the other reasons for delaying it too is because they want to connect the Armor Wars movie with the Ironheart series and Riri Williams building armors. So for instance, they finished filming the Ironheart series last year, but they just chose to delay it a couple years till Armor Wars actually comes out in theaters so they don't have like a crazy 2-year break between like an Armor Wars post-credit scene and then the actual movie. It kind of makes it sound like there's going to be some sort of post-credit scene in Ironheart where Rhodey will learn about Iron Man tech falling into some villain's hands that are connected. In early theory, Obadiah Stane's son, Zeke Stane, is meant to be the villain of Ironheart, or one of the villains, so that's probably the connection with the stolen Stark Tech designs. Zeke Stane would have inherited his father's shares in Stark Industries, which he probably still owns to this day, even though he doesn't work at the actual company. If you never read the Iron Man comics, Zeke Stane also becomes a big villain in future Iron Man comics after his father's death. There's a lot of people also wondering if Robert Downey Jr. would also come back for a cameo scene in the Armor Wars movie, either a recording or as a digital AI of some kind, because they kind of pulled that twist in the comics where even though they made it seem like Iron Man died, he actually backed up his consciousness as an AI. Robert Downey Jr. and Kevin Feige have actually said a couple opposing things, like different things. Robert Downey Jr. has joked about Marvel calling him to come back. When people ask Kevin Feige about bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man, all he said is that they're not going to resurrect the main 616 MCU Iron Man. They didn't say that they would not bring Robert Downey Jr. back, only that they wouldn't bring back this version of Iron Man. So it's still totally possible that there could be like a recording of him that they find, or a digital AI, or a multiverse version of the character during something, say, like Secret Wars or Avengers 5. I think that would be the time to actually bring Robert Downey Jr. back. Just save it for Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. Let him be some alternate universe version of Iron Man, or, for instance, the Sorcerer Supreme of another universe. There was even a bigger deleted scene during Avengers Infinity War where he and Doctor Strange kind of swapped places. He became Sorcerer Supreme wearing the Cloak of Levitation, and Doctor Strange started wearing his Iron Man armor, becoming what they called the Iron Mage. One of the big things that Marvel's known for is turning deleted scenes from previous movies into like even bigger bits during future films. Like, oh, here's an idea that we didn't actually pull off the way we wanted to a couple years ago in this other movie, so we'll try to do a bigger version of that in this future movie. Just a real easy way to bring back Robert Downey Jr. without completely trampling on the original 616 Iron Man's sacrifice. So if you hear people talking about Robert Downey Jr. coming back for Avengers 5 or Avengers 6, they're technically not wrong. It's just a question of which version of which character he's going to be playing. Let me know in the comments though, they bring Robert Downey Jr. back, what do you want him to be doing and which character do you want him to be playing? And because it does seem like Marvel is going to do a soft reboot of the MCU after Avengers 6 Secret Wars, or whatever Secret Wars winds up being, people have been asking if they're going to recast Iron Man. I don't think that they're going to do that anytime soon, but because Secret Wars is still several years away with all the delays, maybe in like 10 plus years, maybe then we'd see a recast version of Iron Man, but not until then. Really good example with that is they're kind of doing the same thing with the Wolverine character, because Hugh Jackman is going to continue to play the character through Secret Wars, so it'll be a long time before they actually recast Wolverine. But big reminder, Deadpool 3 trailer, a whole bunch of other trailers coming in the next week. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. If you have any questions about what's coming up or any bonus videos that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments. Click here for all those brand new Deadpool 3 teaser trailers, and click here to learn about Iron Fist coming back. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.